This gaming PC has came in my shop because although there are lights on the motherboard, if we go to try to turn it on, we'll see if the fan starts up, then immediately stops, and if we try to turn it back on again, well, we get absolutely no response. So what exactly is going on here? Well, I found in the past 11 years of working on computers, you always have to start with the story. Yeah, I'm talking about the customer story, specifically on what happened leading up to the issue occurring. And in the case of our customer, he explained that this all started after a power outage. Which for me is an absolute red flag, because when I didn't have a response from the power button, the first thing that went to my mind is that we have a faulty power supply. And a quick loss of power or power surge could absolutely take one down. Yet, I'm not sure if it's all the way out, because as long as I have the power switch on our power supply on, we do get lights on the motherboard, which usually take advantage of the standby power on the 24 pin, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the power supply's voltage is coming off properly and being received by the motherboard. Luckily, I have a very easy way to test this computer's power supply, using this cool tool by Thermaltake called Dr. Power 3. And it's really nothing fancy except for the fact that it allows you to turn on your power supply, connect up your 24 pin, 8 pin CPU and PCIe, and even 12 plus 4 pin, and verify that all the voltages are correct. And although you technically can do the same thing with a multimeter and some kind of jumper, I've found that the Dr. Power 3 has been my best bet to be able to do a quick test. And to use it, it's pretty simple. All we gotta do is shut off our power supply, get it unplugged, rotate this guy around, and then locate our 24 pin, because that's the first thing I wanna test. And the other thing we gotta notice is that we are on an extension cable, so we're gonna wanna test this as well. Then what we want to do is take our Dr. Power 3 power supply tester, plug in at least the 24 pin. That one is required. You can take out the 8 pin CPU as well, like we're going to do right here, just so we can go ahead and get the two main power cables that are necessary for a test like this. Because although we technically could test the PCIe power, we don't necessarily have to, because for the system to turn on, we don't even need power to the GPU. Right now, it's not even getting a response, which means I'm pretty sure it's probably a failure on the 24 pin. So now that our 24 pin and 8 pin are connected to our Dr. Power 3, what we need to do is add power back to our power supply just like normal, switch it on, and that will turn the screen on the power supply tester, where now if we just press this little power button right now, it will turn the power supply on, where we'll see that we get instant failure on the 12 volt, 5 volt, and 3.3 on both the 24 pin and even on the CPU connector, with the only area without a there being the 5 volt standby power, which is what probably powered those lights on the motherboard. And multiple failures all at the same time like that mean this power supply is definitely cooked. But to be safe in our confirmation, two other things that we can do is first just bypass the extension cable, just because sometimes you can have a bad extension, but I doubt that's the case just because the 8 pin also had the 12 volt failure. So let's go ahead and just connect our cable up to the 24 pin side. That shouldn't be a problem at all, so let's go ahead and just plug this in right here. This way we can run the exact same test as last time, where we'll see we get the exact same error. Then a verification step I always like to take. I know not everybody has one, but if you do have an old spare power supply, I like to always go ahead and just swap that in real quick. So we're just gonna go ahead and unplug everything that needed power from the old power supply, and then we're just gonna switch it with this new power supply or testing power supply that I know that works. The reason I just use a cheap power supply is this one has been reliable for me, and if it were to blow because of some other bad component in the system, honestly, I wouldn't care about it. So we're gonna plug in our 24 pin there, then we're gonna find an 8 pin PCIe, we're gonna go ahead and plug that into the GPU, then we're gonna finally look for our CPU 8 pin or EPS connector, put that in at the top of the case, just like so. There we go, it's one side, and into the other, and that's everything wired up. So now all we gotta do is grab a power supply cable. We'll go ahead and plug that guy right in. We'll see that we get standby power on the motherboard. Then I'm gonna go ahead and connect this up to our monitor as well, just so we can go ahead and see if the system actually posts, just in case anything else got damaged in the process. You always wanna do that before you go ahead and replace the power supply, because if you don't, then you're gonna find out later that maybe you fried your GPU too. So with that all on, we have that switched on. We can go ahead and press the power button right here. We'll see the system fired right up. And if we give it a second, we should see if we get a display out. We'll give it a second to go through that power on self test. Right now it says no signal so far. See, make sure it's plugged in all the way. And there we go. We got a post right there. I don't know if you guys can see that on the screen. Let me show you. And check this out. We actually loaded all the way into Windows. Everything seems to be working just fine, which means it looks like this power supply might have been the only thing that just fried, which is a good thing. That means the overcurrent protection inside this power supply blew before the rest of the system, which is probably a good thing because right now a power supply is probably the cheapest component inside your entire system. And as I'm always a little curious on what power supply fails, just because, you know, it's kind of interesting. You'll see certain ones fail more often than not. Usually you'll see a cheap brand, but EVGA usually makes pretty good units, or at least they did. And this 500 watt unit is pretty similar to the one that we have, just a semi-modular version. And yeah, well, it blew. One weird thing though I did just find is that on the power supply, this is a 500 BQ unit, but they're actually using GQ cables. I mean, just look at the PCIe VGA cable that's going into the modular interface. It says GQ, when the power supply, if you look closely, definitely says BQ. Actually, there's a logo on the bottom side as well. And although that may be absolutely nothing, maybe EVGA was using the exact same power supply cables for multiple of their power supplies. Most of the time though, at least from my experience, you never want to mix and match those because they're never the same. As although they may have the same connector on one hand, they're always slightly different. But as I doubt a customer probably changed that anytime recently, that was probably how the system's been running. Probably is absolutely nothing, but that's something I'm always looking out for. Either way though, this definitely has to be replaced. So after talking over the issue with our customer, it turns out that he wanted a little bit of extra upgrade room. Instead of just going with a 500 watt unit, we're going with this Corsair RM850E, an 850 watt 80 plus gold rated power supply that's also fully modular. It's a really nice unit for about $100 right now. So we're gonna go ahead and get this installed. This way he can upgrade his GPU down the road without having to worry about replacing that again. So let's get this installed by first shutting this PC down and disconnecting our power supply from the motherboard, GPU, as well as the other motherboard CPU connectors. This way we can get my power supply out of the way. Then let's just go ahead and push our power supply cables back through the front side over to the back, pull them through. This way it's going to be a lot easier when we flip this around. Then we can spin our system around, disconnect all the extra cables. And then here we'll see that we have everything disconnected except for our VGA connector that was going to our extension there. We'll get that disconnected. Then we just need to get these 4 screws out of our power supply. 1, 2, 3, 4. This way we can pull this old dead power supply right out. And although we could install our new power supply right now as we have the space, I don't like putting new components in a filthy system. So let's take this PC out back and blow it out with my data vac, of course. The CPU cooler is pretty nasty. That looks so much better. So now that this PC is cleaned up, we can go ahead and get our new power supply installed. But because it's fully modular, I'm going to share a pro tip that I found that just makes life easier when plugging in your power supply. Instead of putting your power supply in the back first, I always recommend starting with your extension or modular power supply cables and plugging those first in on the front side before routing them all back through the cable channels that you want to use. Before plugging in all our cables into the modular interface of our power supply, where we're going to go ahead and plug in our CPU, VGA, and 24-pin connectors before we get our power supply mounted with the 1, 2, 3, 4 screws we took out earlier. So with our power supply now in, we're going to take some of this extra cable slack and tie it up just like this. We're going to kind of make these large bundles. Then we're going to go ahead and find a zip tie and start tying these cables up. One of the downsides nobody really talks about when you do use extensions is you're going to have a lot of extra slack or more slack than what you normally would be accustomed to. So just be aware of that anytime you are dealing with extensions, that you're just going to have to tie up more cables in the back of your case. So you're going to want a little bit of a larger case, like a dual chamber like this, to make your life a little bit easier. That looks good. So let's put back this hard drive cage I took out earlier, as this way we can pretty much wrap things up all around back. And all we got to do is plug in our brand new power supply, switch that on, And we should see that we should be able to now turn the system right on. All thanks to us having this fried power supply out, which I think saved the rest of the components through overcurrent protection, which is actually a really good thing because this is a cheap fix compared to something that could have cost everything if something like the motherboard, CPU, or GPU would have went out. So with that said, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give a like, subscribe for more content like this, and let's get this system back over to our customer.